I'm Leigh Blalock. I go to Greenville High School. I've been a Girl Scout since I was in kindergarten. How I decided on my project, Seeing Hope, was I met this man in Romania on my first mission trip there, and he was crawling around his house, and we went on a house call to his house with my grandfather, who was the doctor on the trip. He was crawling around his house because he was blind, and that was the only safe way for him to get around. And later, my grandfather told me he was blind because he had glaucoma. And I was like, well, what's that? I don't really know much about glaucoma. And he said, well, it's really sad because people who have glaucoma, it's 100% preventable, their blindness is. They don't have to go blind from it. So I was like, that just doesn't seem right. Why don't they do something about it? He's like, well, they just don't go get their eyes checked all the time like we do here. So I came home and I started doing some research on it and found out that glaucoma is the second leading cause of blindness in the world. I talked to several people, and the more and more I talked to people, I found out about these things called tono pins that test the pressure in your eye. So they don't actually say, hey, you got glaucoma. They don't detect that right away, but high pressure is a major indicator of whether someone has glaucoma or not. So I was like, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise money and get these tono pins and go test people. And then the more research I did, I found out that it was more than just the tono pin. I had to have the numbing drops because you can't just poke someone's eye without numbing it first. And those have to be refrigerated. So getting them over there was going to be a little hard. But after I talked to several different people, I had a doctor as my advisor, so he could help me get the drops and figure out how to pack them and get them over there. Did several fundraisers, and finally was able to purchase a tono pin. And the very first time it went over there, I got to go back and I actually tested 200 patients, over 200 actually, for glaucoma, for high pressure. And over half of those people did have high pressure. So it was just really neat for me to actually experience that and be able to see the impact it was making. But every year since, it's gone back at least once a year with a medical team, and it's tested more and more people. But there's also a second part to my project called the Week of Hope. I sent out emails to about 50 councils all over the country and organized a week that girls can do like clothes drives, toiletry drives, toy drives for the local children's ward or pediatric hospital in their area. I'm most likely going to Mississippi College to be a physician's assistant.